So this past week, you guys may have noticed a guy named Kevin Samuels. He is a YouTube expert, part of what some would call the Black Manosphere. He's an image consultant and does a lot of product reviews for high-end luxury, male accessories, clothes, etc. He's also known for the dating advice that he gives women who are seeking six-figure earning men, and generally just trying to date at an older age, over 35, working and looking for a partner. This last week, he did an interview with a young lady who he basically told her she was average at best, and she was average looking, and that she was a dime a dozen, and that a man who earned six figures wouldn't be checking for her, for lack of a better term. So I really want to explore, what is this about? I think the reason that people are so focused on the financial when it comes to men and looks when it comes to women is it goes back in American history, right? So we've always been focused on men as earners, but as time has gone on, women have been raised to be independent, educated, making their own money. And so this dynamic has to switch. But we keep wanting to have an old, archaic conversation. And I think that that is where the disconnect is happening. I think that what it requires for us to change this dynamic is to recognize we're not going back to 1950, right? And while there may be some women who will enjoy a traditional lifestyle of maybe being a homemaker or earning less, the reality is women are being raised to be independent, highly educated, high earning people. And so if you want to date us, right, then you're going to have to change your way of thinking about what leadership looks like for you as a man, right? Which may mean that you lead in other ways, right? It doesn't mean that you have to make the most money. My grandfather, when he first started dating my grandmother and first married her, didn't make as much money as she did, but he still was the leader of the house. The same thing as for my father, right? So we have to be creative instead of thinking that there's only one way to be a leader. There's many ways to be a leader, and it doesn't just mean the money you earn. So I've seen several Kevin Samuels videos. So I was neither shocked nor dismayed because I've kind of already done an analysis of him. So when I first saw this video, I was like, to me, the video speaks to folks who have issues with women, who've had a hard time dating women over time and have made this transition into being high earners and feel some kind of way about the girls who back in the day, what's that song? Back then you didn't want me, now I'm hot, you all on me, right? I think like that's what's up. And so instead of like moving on or moving forward from what was to what is, we're still thinking about what the girl did in high school, right? You can't undo that. Like that's not undoable, right? So grow past that, understand what it means, and recognize that everyone in America is thinking about money all the time, right? And so you're thinking about money, other people are thinking about money. Find someone who's in the middle, who's not driven by your dollar signs. And you might find a good relationship. And that goes for men and women. And I think Kevin Samuels, while there may be some truth to what he says about folks in their average, like feeling like we're higher on the totem pole than we are, a lot of that has to do with social media. A lot of that has to do with, advertising telling us that like, just, be hot for the gram, but don't do what you need to do in real life, right? So I think that's why we have so many people who are like, think they're Beyonce or Jay-Z or, Neil deGrasse, right? Without doing the work. And Kevin Samuels seems to me thinks that like, if you have money, everything else works together. I don't think so. But I do think that there are some women who are actually dating below their pay grade because they don't think they can get a man who's of a higher caliber, right? For real. I think some of us have self-esteem about our own success that we're like, oh, well, we know black men don't want to date, women like me because I'm highly successful, I'm 40, etc. I'm not having that experience at 43. So, but I had that experience at 35. A lot of it has to do with me growing as a person, though. And so I think, at the end of the day, worry about yourself and your person will come along. I spent the last 6 years co-founding an organization focused on the livelihood of Black men and getting them to see their nurturing ability to be great educators. Um, and I have learned a lot working so intimately with Black men and a lot of things that Black women may be missing. But I just want to say to my brothers who are seeking answers on dating in modern day America, that are feeling this pressure about what it means to be a man in 2020, um, talk to more women. Have greater conversations with them in comparison to what you're listening to on the YouTube. There may be some truth in what Kevin Samuel said to some degree, but it comes from a place of vitriol when he talks about it, which says to me that he's hurt, right? And that he's had hurtful and disappointing relationships with women. And women have had the same with men, and we are in this weird quagmire of having a difficult time talking to each other. But what I've learned about y'all is that you want to be in a relationship. You just don't know what it looks like now. You want to be in a relationship, but you don't know what leadership looks like now. I think that's true for women too. And so we have to have this conversation together. Like, what does leadership look for us mutually? And at the end of the day, if the pot don't fit your lid, they're not for you. And it doesn't matter how much money they make or how big their booty is or how light skinned or dark skinned they may be, right? We really just have to seek the answers of what sits right with us and settles with us. And I hope, brothers, that you will keep seeking the answers of what it means for you in your manhood in 2020, recognizing that the scope is widened and it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to have emotion and it's okay to say exactly what you want and be okay with saying it's not for me. I appreciate all my brothers over 40 who've been talking to me lately about their own journey to growth and what they've learned about themselves and the relationships they've had before versus the relationships they have now. So I find it interesting that Kevin Samuels has his perspective because I see so many brothers over the age of 35 being really reflective about who they dated before, why they dated, and what their motivation was, and how much they personally sacrificed to be in relationship with someone because of however long they'd been together or however comfortable it had gotten or however she looked or whatever status she brought, right? Just like women, it's the same. So we have to get away from this shallow view of what relationship looks like on both sides. And we both need to keep it 100. And I think that's how we get right where we need to be in the 21st century. At the end of the day, do you want to be right or in relationship? It seems to me that this whole conversation with Kevin Samuels is one that's happening in both directions, both for men and women, particularly Black men and Black women who are more educated, earning more money than generations previous to us. However, we have to get away from this idea of the list, the successful Black man list, the successful Black woman list, and really be open to the deeper things that mean something to us. We're not possessions. It's not another Louis Vuitton bag. So Kevin Samuels and other folks like them, they're not giving us good advice. Be a better person. Learn to be the best you, and your partner will arrive.